Good morning. I'd like to call our board meeting to order, and let me thank all of you for being with us today. Let me also welcome members of the President's Cabinet and our community members. Thank you for being with us. We want to be very respectful of your time, and also let me welcome all the trustees today. So at this time, we will have roll call and the declaration of a quorum.
Thank you, Chairman Johnson. Trustee Coker?
Here.
Trustee Springfield?
Here.
Trustee Carter?
Here.
Trustee Ellison, can you hear us, and are you alone?
I can hear you, and I'm alone.
Okay, thank you. Trustee Marchetta?
Here.
Trustee Edwards?
Here.
Trustee North?
Here, and I can hear you, and I'm alone.
All right, thank you. Trustee McKinney?
Here.
Trustee Roberts?
I am here. I can hear you, and I'm alone.
Thank you. And Chairman Johnson?
I'm here, I can hear you, and I'm not alone.
Thank you. We have a quorum.
Thank you. Thank you. So our next item would be approval of our December 4th, 2024 minutes. Can I have a motion and a second?
So moved. Second.
All in favor, let me call the roll.
Okay. Trustee Springfield?
Aye.
Trustee Carter?
Aye.
Trustee Ellison?
Aye.
Trustee Marchetta?
Aye.
Trustee Edwards?
Aye.
Trustee North?
Aye.
Trustee McKinney?
Aye.
Trustee Roberts?
Aye.
Chairman Johnson?
Aye.
The meeting minutes have been approved.
Thank you. Next, we will have, there are two individuals have requested to speak to the board. The first is Mr. Peter Math. And Mr. Math, would you come, and you have 3 minutes to address the board. Thank you.
Hello, board. I appreciate each of y'all's service. I wanted to talk to y'all about at the University of Memphis School of Law, we have curriculum committee meetings, and I've spoken to the current dean and the previous dean about my concerns that why we eliminated the curriculum of First Amendment law, and in particular the Tennessee Public Records Act and the Tennessee Open Meetings Act. In West Tennessee, we only have one law school, so that's 21 counties. So if somebody that lives in West Tennessee's First Amendment rights are violated, the law states we're supposed to enforce that law ourselves. And, you know, I've experienced this a lot with public records denials and trouble speaking at open meetings. By the way, y'all are the most friendliest people to present public comments to, Dr. Cochran. Seriously. So, but I tried to figure out why we quit teaching that law at our law school. And Dean Strickland was extremely polite with me. He spent some time talking to me about it. Kind of threw him off. He said it was probably his favorite class in law school. And so he said I could write a letter of recommendation to bring it back. And I did last July. And he said he'd give it to the curriculum committee meeting. And I followed up with him a month or two later and asked him if the curriculum committee had seen it. And I can't remember what he said. It was polite. And I said, well, can I attend the curriculum committee meeting? And he said, no, that's just for faculty members. And I said, well, can our board of trustees attend these meetings? No, they're just for faculty members. And so I did some more research, and this, not surprisingly, all started at the University of Tennessee, which has basically run our state, in my opinion, into the ground in a lot of places. But this happened in 1977 when a bunch of law school students in Knoxville couldn't get into those meetings. So there's a creepy case law that doesn't forbid us from attending these meetings, but doesn't, you know, open the door for us to attend them. But the consequences since 1977 are massively influential to local government. Okay? And First Amendment law is our most important law. And I mean, I'm having troubles right now in some rural counties. The only attorneys I can call have a conflict of interest because they all work for the government. So, but I think this is easy to fix. It's a board of trustees problem. I've talked to a number of legal experts, some national experts. It's not up to Dean Strickland. It's up to the board of trustees, which, again, I don't even think y'all are allowed to go to those meetings. And those are the most important meetings we have here. Okay? Okay, so I appreciate y'all. Thank you. Thank you, Dr. Cochran.
Thank you for, excuse me, thank you for appearing before us. Our next speaker is Dr. Amanda Lee Savage. Would you come to the podium, please?
Hello, everyone. It's good to see you again. I, too, would like to express my love for Clayton. Thank you for making this an easy process. I wanted to open by following up on my previous comments to you back in our December meeting. And just for the record, I do intend to come to your June meeting, and I'm looking forward to continuing this relationship. If you were concerned, Mitchell Hall has not had a sewer gas smell since the last time I was here. I would like to also report that it is cleaner, and we have better coverage from our janitorial staff. And my colleagues at our award-winning first-generation student center are going to get new digs. And so that is very exciting. There should be no more fires that threaten their clothing. So I do want to thank you and thank, the provost and our CFO and the president for their attention to that issue. That said, while my personal situation has improved, it hasn't improved across campus. And so I wanted to let you know what UCW is doing on behalf of the university and the employees here to try to move this forward. We are going to Nashville with Tennessee for All to lobby for our employees' rights. As I mentioned, the last time I was here, 93% of our people in physical plant do not make a living wage. And so we'll be going to talk to our legislatures about that, about supporting that bill. We'd also like more funds for our buildings, of course, and I know those are things that you also are working with Nashville on. I would also like you to push back at the civics bill, which is called HB 0291, SB 1077. This bill requires the Institute of American Civics at the University of Tennessee in Knoxville to develop materials and curricula for a course that will be a required part of our gen ed. This bill not only diminishes faculty control over curriculum, but our sovereignty as an institution. I do not think an institute at the University of Tennessee in Knoxville, another state school, needs to be telling me what I teach in my classroom, what documents I use, and how I measure and evaluate my students. We are an institute of higher education. We are competent historians and political scientists, and we can develop these materials ourselves. We do most of this in our class, and I am happy to provide syllabi, examples, and any other information you might need if you're on the fence or not really sure how you feel about this particular bill. So that said, the last 2 weeks have been incredibly wild, and so I'm actually not really sure where to pitch the last minute I have to talk to you. We do call on the board, though, to reaffirm its commitment to diversity, equity, inclusion, and accessibility. Our institution does not reflect the demographics of our city. We have practices that keep people of color and women at the lowest ends of the career ladder and the pay scale. We have environmental problems and procedures that make it impossible for people with disabilities to get to work or to get to class without great effort. Until U of M is truly integrated, and I mean for Black people, for people of color, for first-generation students, for the plurality of political beliefs that we have on this campus, for disabled people, for our veterans, for our rural students who do not have access often to the same sort of things we give access to people who live in the city to, for our LGBTQIA students and who do exist, no matter how people are trying to erase them. We are a university that does not live up to its mission if we don't honor these students and employees. DEIA is not a mission in and of itself. It's the lens that we were using to try to accomplish this mission. But the student data and the employee data will show you that we have not yet met them. So I know that my time is running out. I would love to talk to you more about this at some point. I do intend to stay here for the duration of your meeting, and I will be available afterward if you'd like to have further conversations. Thank you.
Dr. Savage, thank you for appearing before us. Next, we will have the President's update. Dr. Hargraves, the floor is yours.
Thank you, Chairman Johnson. At the December board meeting, I talked about our state legislative priorities, and since that time, the governor has released his budget, and the legislators are back in session. As you recall, I mentioned our three priorities being research space, deferred maintenance, and safety and security. We're thankful for the governor for putting the $70.5 million for research modernization, as we discussed earlier today, to affect numerous buildings in about 115,000 square feet across campus, and that's very much needed, and we'll work with our legislators to continue to keep that in. And we are very diligent in our efforts to ensure that we get deferred maintenance money. That is a significant issue for us, as well as other campuses across the state. And I think our state officials understand that, know that, and I'm hopeful that we'll find some solution to our deferred maintenance issues. And then safety and security was not in the governor's budget, but we were, again, working with our legislators now to get it in the budget. I think we have great progress to show on that side, and we'll be presenting next week in front of the Senate Ways and Means Committee and we'll talk about some of the success we've had with our safety and security funding. On the federal side, I was in D.C. last week and met with every member of our delegation. As you know, there's lots of directives and coming from D.C., which has created a significant amount of uncertainty in the higher education space. We are working diligently to understand and comply with the various executive orders and dear colleague letters and communicate that when things become solid. And I think that's the key here is there's so many things that are coming out that are ill-defined and we don't know exactly what they mean or they get rescinded. So we are trying to communicate when we believe we have good, solid information on something. We have been impacted by the stopping of some grants. The last count, I think, was 7 or may have ticked up. Jasbir, a couple, we're at 9 now, the grants that have been stopped by orders. On a positive note from the federal side, Provost Rusumano appeared as an expert witness before the Homeland Security Committee discussing the topic of cybersecurity workforce, and this is only the second time in the U of M history that someone from the university has appeared before Congress, and he did a great job, sat there for 3 hours and showed no emotion or facial expressions as the committee unfolded. So, and never got up one time. That was impressive. We have the SAC COC reaffirmation of accreditation visit March 24th through 27th. I know some of our trustees will be participating. Colton leads this effort for us. Happens every 10 years. I know he will be glad when it is behind us. This is the last meeting for our student trustee, Seth Coker. He has done a great job for us, and we wish him well as he wraps up his undergraduate degree in May. Seth, anything you'd like to share at this point?
Yeah, first I'd like to thank President Hardgrave, Melinda Carlson, and Sam Warren. They've really helped me and encouraged me to take this position. I'd also like to thank Mr. Colton Cochran for taking the time to help me learn in this new space and get into this position smoothly. Also, a huge shout out to the President's Cabinet. They've done a really good job in advancing the interests of the university, and also the Board of Trustee members who dedicated their time to advancing the university and also ensuring student success. And this university could not run without you all. So I really appreciate you taking the faith in me and leading in this position. Thank you.
Seth, just as a little token of appreciation and something that you can hang on your wall, just to remember the great work that you did for us. Thank you for the great work that you did. And so let's get it.
Seth, oh, go ahead.
In the spirit of recognition, I'd just like to recognize and thank Seth for his commitment and service on the Board of Trustees. You know, Seth does an amazing job of expressing his thoughts, beliefs, and re-anchoring us into kind of the why around why we do things. I won't bring up, kind of some recent conversations that we had, but, we've got a lot of great momentum and things happening at the University of Memphis. And a lot of times as Board of Trustees, we can look at things through the lens of, outcomes and KPIs, which we absolutely ought to be able to do. Seth, in addition to that, being able to have his perspective and truly be the voice of the student on this body has truly been invaluable. And I just want to thank you for that contribution, and I wish you the best.
I echo that one of the most important things we can do is student involvement, because at the end of the day, that's why the university is here. So thank you for being with us. Trustee McKinney said everything that I wrote down and told him to say. Thank you. Mr. President, the floor is still yours.
Finally, I'd like to recognize and congratulate our men's basketball team on capturing at least a share of the AAC regular season title last night. Coach Hardaway and his coaches have done a great job this year, and we wish him and the team well in the AAC and the NCAA tournament coming up. Mr. Chairman, that concludes my report.
Thank you. Would you also introduce our next That's Dr. Laura Casey, who will be coming before us with a presentation.
Certainly. At this time, it's my pleasure to introduce Dr. Laura Casey. She is a professor of instruction and curriculum leadership in the College of Education. In her time at the U of M, she has generated more than $20 million in external research funding. Today, she'll share with you information about 3 grants that provide life-changing services to children and families with special needs and or social emotional delays with an age range of birth to 6 years old. And thanks to the funding from the research grants, all at no cost to residents of Shelby County. Dr. Casey?
Thank you so much for inviting me to speak today. I'm very honored to be here, and I'm excited to see several people in the audience today that have helped me achieve my goals, whether it's been through support, pats on the back, a little extra help financially, help finding space, help pre-awards, post-awards. I just want to thank each of y'all, and I want to thank the board for allowing me to talk today about these grants. Today I'm going to speak about primarily 3 grants. They are all dedicated to providing early intervention services for children birth through 5 and some up to 6. And this aligns with our U of M strategic plan. When I was looking through the strategic plan, it specifically aligns with Goal 4 in that this research is life-changing. It is interdisciplinary, and it's addressing one of society's greatest challenges. If we look to the research in early intervention, a lot of it points to the amount of money that we invest in the early years saves us money long term. It saves us money for children. They don't need as much special education. They don't require as much assistance. They are able to live more independently and really contribute to the society, and their families are able to maintain employment. When the children receive this early intervention, it creates opportunities for the families to also pursue their goals and their career options. Specifically, the grants I'm going to refer to are Project Memphis, and Project Memphis is a global term. A faculty member years ago in the early 70s started what he called Project Memphis. His name was Dr. Alton Quick. He wanted to get out in the community and do some boots on the ground work with families and children with early intervention, and so he coined this term. And to honor him, we have kept this name. So we refer to our work in the home and community, where we go into the homes and work with children with disabilities, as Project Memphis. That's our primary one. Since 2015 and it's been granted through 2029, we have garnered up to $10 million to provide these services. The next one is PM Ready. We just extended the Project Memphis name and added Ready because this one was a grant that we applied for to really get children ready for preschool. Both of these are funded through the Department of Disability and Aging. PM Ready is currently funded at $4.5 million through 2029. The last grant I'm going to hit on is the Regional Intervention Program. It's funded through Department of Mental Health and Substance Abuse at $1.2 million, carrying us through 2029. The Regional Intervention Program started in Vanderbilt late 60s, early 70s as an intervention for parents helping parents of children with autism. As it developed and grew, they realized this can really help all children who are struggling with behavior disorders, whether they have a diagnosis or not. So today we serve all children who can benefit from this, and we still use that parent training model. So the 2 early intervention options that are grant funded here at the University of Memphis through Project Memphis are PM Home and Community, and that is where we do send our developmental therapists into the home. They work directly with the parents or the caretakers, helping children reach those developmental milestones. And then the next one is PM Ready, and that's an actual picture of the children in the classroom with some therapists working. So in order to be eligible to receive these free services through Project Memphis, the child must qualify for Tennessee Early Intervention Services. So they either have a 40% delay in one of the common areas, which you can see below: social, emotional, cognitive, physical, language, or behavior, or they have 25% delay across 2 of those. And so once they qualify through TEIS, they are referred to us or another early intervention resource agency to provide these services. So I want to talk about the impact, because this is one of the things that is so special about these service grants, is we are really directly impacting the community. At Project Memphis Home and Community, we serve approximately 200 families a month. That's a lot of families a month that are receiving services here throughout the community. And when you think about it, it's a year-long process. We are also able to hire 30 staff. So we have 30 additional people that get to boast of being U of M faculty and staff here through this grant. Project Memphis Ready is the next one. This was one that grew from the success of the home and community. We were doing the research and continue to do the research and services in the home and realized that we're doing a great job at the individual skills, helping the parents connect with their children, helping the children learn these individual skills. But we noticed something that was missing was their ability to interact with peers. Part of being ready to go to preschool and to receive these wonderful benefits of early childhood education services is social skills. So we submitted a grant for this in 2015, and we received it. We were very lucky to receive it and fortunate to receive it. And we started this so that they could be in a group setting, learning those individual skills, but also sharing and playing with others. These are pictures that kind of show what we do on a daily basis. Project Memphis Ready is housed in the Early Childhood Academy in partnership through Porterleaf. One of the amazing things about this partnership is we're allowed space in their building, and it shows these kids what it will look like when they're able to be part of an inclusive setting. We have outdoor space that we have access to so they can work on those gross and fine motor skills. We have indoor space where you can work on sharing. This is the last picture is the two kids working on sharing, and one's taking turns with the hammer while the other one looks on. Project Memphis Ready has a huge impact as well. We have served 80 children to date, 3,000 hours of group therapy. We provide internships and graduate assistantships to over 25 U of M students. This is something that I'm super proud about. We're creating the future for early interventionists. We partner with child development and family studies, social work, psychology, applied behavior analysis, speech language, and also the foreign language department as we serve children who are Spanish speaking. So now on to RIP. And RIP is the acronym that it goes by. And as I mentioned earlier, it is a parent training parent program. This is an intensive program. So when parents come on board, they know they're going to be at RIP for about 30 weeks. It's a curriculum-driven program where the therapists train the parents how to work with their child. So you don't get to drop your kid off when you come to RIP on Tuesday and Thursday nights. You stay with them or her. And it's great. And they learn all these skills and behavior management strategies while we're running a mock preschool session. So the parent goes with them to wash their hands, to have snack, to go to the social skills, to sing the goodbye song. It's parent driven. And then the parent stays and commits to training other parents. So it's a cyclical program. It's really beautiful the way it works. And we often hire former parents. They just really buy in and they want to come back and work. Some of the reasons a child might attend RIP, while it did start years ago being primarily for children and families with autism, it now requires no diagnoses. It's self-referral, pediatrician referral for any child that may be exhibiting aggression, high activity, non-compliance, difficulties at school. Maybe they're being expelled. Maybe they're getting teacher notes sent home. And so we help them build on those individual skills while running through a mock preschool. And we are located on Park Avenue campus, and we operate Tuesdays and Thursdays. We're in a morning program and 2 afternoon programs. The impact that RIP has had so far, we serve approximately 35 families a year. And like I said, it is a commitment, so to serve that many families is huge. It comes to about 5,000 hours of student trainings from, again, psychology, child development, Spanish, ABA, social work. And you can see there we have a wonderful facility set up in Park Avenue campus where we have observation rooms so that the students can do bug and ear and talk to the therapist in there. They can take data while the parents are learning and help everyone work together. When I started the conversation, I mentioned that I felt like this reached goal 4 in our Ascend strategic plan. And as I worked through the PowerPoint, I realized, we're hitting a lot of other things too in that strategic plan. We are transforming educational and research models. We have internships, present and publish with students at local and national conferences. There's a high societal impact as we work with these children who are going to live and stay in Shelby County and become productive members of society. We do work with integrity and courage, determination, and we're striving to meet the Tennesseans where they are. So I hope that this presentation was insightful and informative, and I want to thank you again for allowing me to share these wonderful grants that I have that are more service-driven. While we do generate research, their goal is to serve. Thank you.
Dr. Casey, tremendous work, and thank you for that very informative presentation. Are there any questions from the trustees for Dr. Casey? Thank you for appearing before us, and you are always welcome.
Oh, thank you. Thank you.
Mr. Chairman, I would just.
Okay, next we will move into our reports. We had excellent reports from our trustee chairmen and all of the other participants. So the first one is our report and recommendation from the Academic and Student Affairs Committee. Trustee Marchetta.
All right, thank you, Chairman Johnson. So this morning at our Academic and Student Affairs Committee, we had 3 items that we addressed during that meeting. The first item was the approval of our institutional mission profile, and Tennessee law requires that the Board of Trustees approve and submit the annual institutional mission profile to THEC. So I'd like to call for a motion to recommend approval of the annual institution mission profile.
So move.
Second.
If you could take a roll call vote.
Trustee Springfield.
Aye.
Trustee Carter.
Aye.
Trustee Ellison.
Aye.
Okay, thank you. Trustee Marchetta.
Aye.
Trustee Edwards.
Aye.
Trustee North.
Aye.
Trustee McKinney.
Aye.
Trustee Roberts.
Aye.
And Chairman Johnson.
Aye.
The motion carries.
Thank you. The second item that we addressed was the list of academic programs that are terminated in 2024. The provost, Dr. David Rusomano, provided the committee with a list of the certificates and concentrations that were recently terminated. And he also highlighted that these terminations were actually originated in the programs, which is an important part of the process. This list will be provided to THEC, the Tennessee Education Committees of the Senate and the House of Representatives at the conclusion of the meeting today, and this agenda was simply an informational item and does not require a vote of the board. The third item the committee addressed was about the proposal for the Polytechnic at the U of M. The Polytechnic at the U of M is a new unit that is planned to launch July 1st, 2025. The unit focuses on providing applied academic programs that are aligned with our workforce needs currently in aviation, engineering, technology, IT, manufacturing technology, organizational leadership, and related technology fields. And those are already existing programs within the university. Of course, once the unit is established, there will hopefully be other opportunities for growth in the Polytechnic to meet the regional needs, and I think we're very excited to see the direction of that unit, or subunit, I should say, once it's fully engaged. Again, this was an agenda item, and it was for information only and does not require a vote of the board. So, at this point, this concluded the business of the Academic and Student Affairs Committee.
Thank you, Trustee Marchetta. Our next committee is Advancement Committee. Trustee Carter, the floor is yours.
Thank you, Mr. Chairman. The Advancement Committee met this morning. Just to be clear, advancement is the process and structure by which the university raises philanthropic contributions to help support the programs and capital improvements that we all see around campus. The fundamental of the meeting was a report from Dr. Tara Jones, Senior Vice President of Advancement. Dr. Jones presented to us the significant momentum in the organization, from the organizational structure itself and the new talent that she's brought in to help us advancement, to the progress we're making in fundraising. At this point in time, 60% of the way through the fiscal year, we've achieved 80% of our goal, which was a stretch goal, a significant goal to raise money for the university. So great work by that team. One of the big highlights of that was that the Mellon Foundation has given a grant to the university of $4.99 million. That was the largest gift ever from a national foundation. And the Mellon Foundation is kind of one of those benchmark foundations that we can springboard off of and approach other national foundations for fundraising and philanthropic contributions to the university in the future. We also set a record for Tuesday Giving Day. I think most of you probably see the social media that Michelle Earhart and her team put out in collaboration with the departments that go do this. We raised $30,000 on Giving Day, but we also created a whole new set of givers and donors to the university that we'll continue to follow up with and hopefully develop over time to being significant contributors to the university. There were no specific items that required approval. So with that concludes my report, Mr. Secretary.
Trustee Carter, thank you for your report. Our next committee report will be our Athletics Committee, and I will turn it now to Trustee North.
Thank you, Mr. Chairman. Our committee met this morning. We had one primary agenda item, which Dr. Scott, our athletic director, gave us a broad update on a variety of aspects of our athletic department. I would start with a summary of that, saying that we, as a Board of Trustees, continue to be impressed with Dr. Scott's efforts to do the multiple areas that are required of an athletic director at a D1 school. He's part leader, part support of the coaches, part fundraiser, part educator of our athletes, part compliance, and part positioning of our university and our community and nationwide. And Dr. Scott's doing an excellent job. We received an update on the two major construction projects, being the stadium, the football stadium, and the Fletcher Stadium. Both are developing quite well and continue to have opportunities for donors who would like to participate in that. One of the most impressive things that we received was a summary of sort of how we've done in our fall sports, with the football team concluding with its 5th consecutive bowl victory, back-to-back 10-win seasons, and also finishing the season ranked for the first time since 2019. We particularly enjoy a position today in the athletic community where we are only one of 6 schools in the country that has both football and men's basketball ranked in the top 25 on a national basis, and we're quite proud of that. There are so many accomplishments in men's soccer, women's soccer, and other areas that too numerous to mention here today. One thing that must be recognized is that they are student athletes that are, and not just athletes that attend our university. We've recorded the highest GPA in department history with 3.4 GPA. We had 58 student athletes that achieved a 4.0 grade point average, and 79% of our athletes, 333 of the athletes that have a rigorous athletic and a rigorous academic schedule, earned a 3.0 or higher. So we're incredibly proud of that. Dr. Scott has built out his leadership team, both on his direct staff and new volleyball coach and a new softball coach. Very proud of that. So overall, things are going extremely well in athletics. That's under the environment of a lot of challenges in athletics these days. And we are particularly proud of what the coaches and the athletes and Dr. Scott's teams are doing. So that was a good report from Dr. Scott. We appreciated that. We had no other business that was brought before us and no actions for the Board of Trustees. So that concludes our report, Mr. Chairman.
Thank you, Trustee North, for your report. Next item would be our Government Affairs and Public Policy. Trustee Edwards.
Thank you, Chairman. The Government Affairs and Public Policy Committee meeting this morning had one item that we addressed, and that was an item, the teacher bonus resolution. As you recall, earlier this year, Governor Lee called a special session of the state legislature, and at that time, the state legislature approved the Education Freedom Act of 2025. Part and parcel of that act was the ability of each school district in the state to pay a teacher a bonus, all K through 12 public schools in the state, of no less than $2,000. Now, this, of course, is subject to appropriation by the legislature. I think that may very well happen. But it required that each of the school districts, in fact, pass a resolution, adopt a resolution to participate in this program in order for the teachers to get their bonuses. There was a deadline of June the 1st. Our school board for the Innovation School District and the University Schools is, in fact, the Government Affairs and Public Policy Committee of this board. We will not meet again until after June the 1st. Therefore, today at our meeting, we did, in fact, adopt a resolution to participate in Section 4 of the Education Freedom Act and enable our teachers to receive a $2,000 bonus. And that was the only item that we had before the board. It doesn't require any approval here. It was approved at the Government Affairs and Public Policy Committee meeting by way of the University Schools Board. So that was our item. That's the only issue that came before our board, and that concludes the business of the Government Affairs and Public Policy Committee.
Thank you, Trustee Edwards. Now we will move to Finance and Audit Committee. Trustee McKinney, floor is yours.
Thank you, Chairman Johnson. The Finance and Audit Committee meeting met this morning. Angela Ross, our Chief Internal Auditor, presented several items before the board, including a summary of the internal audit reports issued, an audit issue follow-up, a summary of investigations resolved, and an external audit report, including the internal audit and consultant client satisfaction survey. Then we heard from Renee Bustamante, our CFO and COO, who provided us with the FY24 annual financial report. You'd be pleased to know, and I report out that the report showed that the Division of State Audit under the Office of State Comptroller performed an independent audit for the university, as well as the University of Memphis Foundation, Auxiliary Services Foundation, and U of M Research Foundation, and the HERF Trust, and an unmodified clean audit opinion was found for each of those areas, and there were no adjustments to be made by the University of Memphis's financial statements as a result of that audit. Next, Mark Heath came before the committee. Mark serves as our Executive Director of Safety, Business Continuity, and Risk Management, and provided an update on the annual risk assessment process. The update included key assessment objectives for 2025, and the focal point was the process and risk assessment outcomes, and certainly laid a path for us being proactive with respect to risk. We discussed the importance of NIL cybersecurity moving forward and the changing landscape under those items. The last item, which will require action of this body, was a capital budget proposal, which was presented by our CFO, COO, along with Tony Petit, our Chief University Planning Officer, POTIT, sorry. This presentation focused on the FY26-27 capital budget request that included the capital outlay and capital maintenance. I think it's worth noting that the capital outlay is really a balance between what's economically feasible for us given the constraints there, but all items listed in the capital outlay are truly needs, and we're prioritizing needs at this point. The Finance and Audit Committee approved a motion to approve the capital budget request for fiscal year 26-27, and at this time, I call upon the board to do the same. So I'll ask for an entertainment of a motion and a second for approval of the capital budget for FY 26-27.
So moved, David.
Second.
Have a motion and a second. Any discussion on that item? Seeing none, Secretary, call for a vote.
Trustee Springfield,
Aye.
Trustee Carter,
Aye.
Trustee Ellison,
Aye.
Trustee Marchetta,
Aye.
Trustee Edwards,
Aye.
Trustee North,
Aye.
Trustee McKinney,
Aye.
Trustee Roberts,
Aye.
and Chairman Johnson.
Aye.
The motion carries.
Thank you so much. Chairman Johnson, that concludes the business of an F&A committee.
Trustee McKinney, thank you. You were much briefer than I thought you would be. That was good. Proud of you. We have one other additional item that's in your meeting material. This is a call for approval. The Board of Trustees requests a motion to approve the University President Retreat Policy as presented in the meetings material. Can I have a motion and a second, please?
So moved.
Second.
Call the roll, please.
Trustee Springfield,
Aye.
Trustee Carter,
Aye.
Trustee Ellison,
Aye.
Trustee Marchetta,
Aye.
Trustee Edwards,
Aye.
Trustee North,
Aye.
Trustee McKinney,
Aye.
Trustee Roberts,
Aye.
and Chairman Johnson.
Aye.
All right, thank you. The motion carries.
Good. Is there any additional business to come before this body today? If not, we will stand adjournment, and we do not even have to call the roll to adjourn. We will adjourn. Thank you.